Hello, this is a slightly different kind of a demonstration. This is demonstrating a problem in the refreshing of diagrams for changes, external changes in CSS style sheets that affects the canonical edit policy. In particular, when canonical edit policy is activated or deactivated in a non-transactional context by diagram refresh due to CSS changes. So let's start by applying a CSS style sheet that makes classes canonically synchronized and the same for enumerations, but not data types. So now we edit, to demonstrate that, we edit a data type by adding a new attribute like so. And we see that the new attribute does not show up in the diagram because it's not canonical. Okay, so let's go and fix up our style sheet then to change that. So we'll make the data type canonical, and by implication enumerations also. So then, then we refresh and we see, great, now this is canonical, has canonical edit policy activated. We see that here, and we see in fact that our attribute that we had added has a view created for it now, but oops, enumerations aren't canonical anymore because the element type selector rules in CSS, they aren't aware of inheritance of metaclasses. So that's not the greatest situation, so let's just revert this back to the way it was and we'll fix it up later in some better way. Refresh the diagram again. Okay, good. So now this is no longer canonically synchronized. Now what happens if we undo? All of that fiddling around with refreshing the diagram for external CSS changes was not captured in undoable, redoable operations on the history. So in fact, when I undo, I start undoing edits to the attribute that we'd added to this data type. Of course, the diagram reflects those because these label edit parts, they always show the latest state from the model. But what's different now, if I undo the creation of that attribute, the canonical edit policy is no longer active to say, oops, need to remove the view for something that is no longer contained by this data type. So in fact, in a Java sense, that property still exists as an object that is referenced by this view, but, or I don't even know if that's what's going on, but the presentation of this diagram is confused now. And if I undo again, in fact now we undo the application of that style sheet that made all these other views canonical. And that properly undoes the creation of the views that had ensued from activating canonical edit policy on these things, because that was all recorded in the undo redo transaction, the operation that had attached the style sheet in the first place. So now, ostensibly, we're back to where we started with the clean diagram, except that it's actually broken. Thank you.